All right, welcome guys. Thank you for being here. My name is Rajat Tayal. I'm a product manager at the wireless BU at Cisco. And in this session, I'm going to talk about two products. Cisco Mobility Express, which is our controllerless solution, controllerless enterprise-grade solution for small businesses. And also talk about the Catalyst 9800L, which is our newest addition on the control appliance 9800 product portfolio. So let's start with Mobility Express. When we think about small businesses, what are they actually looking for? So they're looking for really three things. They're looking for something that is simple to deploy, simple to manage, because small businesses may not really have an army of IT staff. Maybe they have one or two guys, and in some cases, maybe they have no one, and they manage it by themselves. The second thing they're looking for is a wireless solution which is reliable and secure. Wireless is mission critical these days. It is the preferred way of access, and it has to be secure as well. And last but not least, it has to be affordable. With that said, Cisco has a solution called Cisco Mobility Express. It is a controllerless Wi-Fi solution. You don't really need a controller hardware to run Mobility Express. You can run it on the access point. There is no license associated with it. So when you buy the access point with Mobility Express software, it will run the controller out of the box. And of course, there is no subscription. So if cost is a concern to you, subscription is a concern to you, we have an enterprise solution called Mobility Express. So what is it really? So it is the controller which is embedded on the access point. And this controller can manage up to 100 access points. Yeah. It is really simple to set up. You can set it up in 3 easy steps, and I'm going to show you that, how to do it. And one of the things that we have done is we have enabled the wireless best practices out of the box. So when you set up Mobility Express, you have an optimized RF environment out of the box. You don't really have to fine-tune it. You don't really have to have expert wireless knowledge to fine-tune the RF parameters. It has, as I said, it has a very simple UI, which allows you to monitor, manage, provision, as well as troubleshoot the network. And I said it's enterprise grade, which means it supports pretty much all of the enterprise grade features that you get on the bigger appliance controllers. It has built-in redundancy, so if you have a controller running on an access point. If that access point fails, the control switches to the other access point. So you have that built-in redundancy. And if you have 5 access points, you have the controller redundancy till the very last, which is the 5th access point. And let's say you deployed Mobility Express, you had 100 APs, and now you have a need to go beyond 100 APs. What do you do with these Mobility Express APs that you invested in? Well, if you go beyond 100 APs, you can buy a controller and migrate your Mobility Express to the controller-based deployment. So your investment in the APs is actually protected. So which access points can run Mobility Express? Pretty much all our 11 AC Wave 2 access points can run Mobility Express. Indoor APs, outdoor APs. Even the ISR 1100 has an AP built inside. So if you buy this SKU, the 1100 SKU, which has the AP built inside, you can run Mobility Express on it. So what's really the difference between all these APs in terms of features and functionality? The biggest difference is really the scale. So if you buy the 1800 series APs, you have a scale of 50 access points, 1,000 clients in a single deployment. But if you buy 28, 38, or 4800 series APs, you can scale the network to 100 access points, 2,000 clients in a single deployment. So just to sort of give you the visual, so this is an 1815 access point I have in my hand. It can run the controller, it can service clients, and it can manage 49 more of APs in a single network. And if you were to go with 2800 series APs, as I said, you can scale up to 100 APs, 2,000 clients. How can I manage it? So we have easy management options. So we have a mobile app that you can use to deploy and monitor. We also have the web UI option where you can log into the controller. It's called the simplified UI. You can set up using the web browser. You can manage the controller. You can provision it. You can monitor it using the web UI as well. But let's say if you have hundreds and thousands of sites with Mobility Express, what is the management solution for that? Well, you can manage it using either Cisco Prime or you can manage it using Cisco DNA Center. So now I'm going to show you how easy it is to set it up. And these are actual screenshots. So when you power the access point, it broadcasts default SSID, you connect to it, and then you start the visit. The first thing that you see in the visit is basically to enter your username and password. This is your controller username and password that you would do. Once you've done that, you click on Start. And the next thing that you do is enter the system name and time. What's the name that you want to give to the controllers? Select the country where you're in, and that's about it. And then, of course, you want to enter the IP address that you want to assign to the controller because once you're done configuring, you want to be able to access the management interface. So this is the IP address that you would assign. As a third step, you create your Wi-Fi network like you do it at home, right? So you give it a network name, your SSID. You choose the security. You enter the password or the shared key, depending on security that you select. And pretty much that's about it. There is an optional config option to select the RF parameter optimization. And essentially what we are doing here is, so let's say you have a high density deployment, right? And you don't really want to figure out what RF parameters you need to change. You can simply come here and select it. So you have low density, typical density, and high density environment. So in day one, you have pretty much configured your entire wireless network. So the question comes up, you're running Mobility Express on an access point. What are all the features that it supports? And as I said, it is truly enterprise-grade product. So I have highlighted some of the key features that it supports. So we support application visibility and control, bidirectional rate limiting, scheduling of WLAN for retail businesses and whatnot. They want to shut off the SSID after, let's say, the business hours. They can do that. We support MDNS for K-12s. We support umbrella security. And of course, we also support some of the advanced RF features, for example, flexible radio assignment and clean air that is available on our higher end access points, the 28, 38, and the 4800s. All right, so before I move on to the 9800L, any questions on Mobility Express? All right, no problem. All right, so let's talk about the 9800L. So as I said, this is our newest addition to the Catalyst 9800 product portfolio. Yeah? So before I talk about the 9800L, I want to highlight a slide which talks about our next generation wireless stack. So Cisco's next gen wireless stack comprises of a few different things. It has the 9800 controllers, including the 9800L. It's got the Catalyst 9100 access points, which are the Wi-Fi 6 access points. We have the Cisco DNS Center, which is our control and command center. And then, of course, we have DNS spaces. And together, what you get is a much more resilient, secure, and intelligent wireless network. In terms of the control portfolio and how that sort of fits into the different scale limits, we have a controller for every scale limit that you can think of. Starting with Mobility Express for the low end, going up the ladder to appliances, the 9800L, which supports up to 250 APs, 5,000 clients. Then moving up to 9840. We also have the 9800CL, which you can deploy in private or public cloud. By public cloud, I mean you can deploy in Amazon Web Services. It is the only controller that is available in AWS today. And of course, we have the flagship 9880, and we have a corresponding cloud version of that as well. So why the 9800? So Cisco has been in the wireless business for the last 20 years. We have had the AirOS controllers. What we have done with the Catalyst 9800 is we have taken the 20 years of innovation, the RF excellence, the learnings that we've got, and we have combined it with the most modern operating system, the iOS XE. And together, we have built the Catalyst 9800. So Catalyst 9800 runs iOS XE. Coming back to the 9800L, as I said, it is designed for medium-scale wireless deployments. It has two 10 gig copper interfaces, or two 10 gig fiber interfaces. So we have both the hardware options. You can buy with the copper interface, or if you have fiber, you can buy with the fiber interfaces. It supports a capacity of 5 Gbps, supports a scale of 250 APs out of the box, but then you can buy a performance license, which means that you can increase the scale up to 500 access points and 10,000 clients. And just to show you the visual again, it's a really compact controller. You can fit sort of two of them side by side in one RU chassis. So 9800L, how does it differentiate when it compares to the bigger appliances? So one thing I want to highlight is that we have full software parity with the higher-end controller appliances. Whether it's redundancy, whether it's security, whether it's patchability, it has full feature parity. So just because you're buying a smaller controller, you're not really sacrificing on any of the feature sets. With the 9800s, we have a wireless network that can be always on. When you're doing software upgrades, we have software upgrades where you can actually have zero downtime. And you can patch these controllers. By patching, what I mean is, let's say you're running a version, right? You find a problem. What do? You tell Cisco there's a problem, I need a new software code. So Cisco fixes the problem, gives you a new code, and you need to upgrade, right? But with hot patching, essentially what we'll give you is like a fix for the issue. And when we give you the fix for the issue, all you're doing is applying the patch. You aren't really upgrading the entire software code. So if you have certified a code, you stay on that code, but you still get the fix for the issue that you found without really having to upgrade to a new software code. If a new AP comes out, in the past, Cisco would say, well, if you want support for the new APs, you need to upgrade your existing network to a new software code. Well, that's going to change with the 9800. You can apply a device pack. What that means is you are telling the controller, hey, admit these new APs. So now you can have newer hardware compatible with the software release that is running on the controller that you have certified. And most importantly, it supports open programmable models. So, netconf, resconf, GNMI. The old days were the SNMP days, but now going forward, in the 9800, you can actually use some of these newer programmable interfaces to config and get telemetry out of the devices. So what are the management options? Once again, DNS Center is a management option. And besides DNS Center, you can use any of the standards-based interoperability tools like Puppet, or you can do your own custom development for configuring the 9800 controllers. All right, so how do we select the right controller? Like, how do I decide which controller I need to go to? So if you're a small business, right, a small deployment running Mobility Express or a 3504, your option would be to either go to a Wi-Fi 6 Mobility Express or a 9800L. If you're a mid-sized deployment, 100 to 500 APs, you're running a 3504, you can migrate over to the 9800L. All right, so what do we have right now in terms of the offers? So on the 1800 series APs, if you come to the booth, you will see you have an offer going on, buy one, get one free. On the 9800L, if you buy a minimum of 100 AP DNA licenses, you get 50% off on the 9800L. So that's a significant saving. Any question on the 9800L? Question? I can't hear.
Is there a virtual appliance available for the 9800 series?
Absolutely, which is the 9800 Cloud. As I said, you can deploy the 9800 Cloud in private cloud. So let's say you have a VMware infrastructure in your private cloud, you can deploy there. Or you can also deploy in Amazon Web Services.
Is there a throughput difference between the cloud version and the physical version?
Yes. So the maximum throughput for centrally switched traffic is about 2.5 Gbps for the cloud version. Yeah. For local switching, there is no limitation. Yeah.
I have two questions.
Sure.
Is there any backwards compatibility with Meraki?
No.
Right? So all of that stuff would have to go.
Yeah,
if we
so
went
I
to
don't
this.
think the Ian products have compatibility with Meraki products.
Okay. And then how many clients per access point?
500.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, with the Wi-Fi 6, the Catalyst 9100. Yeah. No more questions? Thank you so much. All right.